Everybody, welcome back to the Insiders Lounge. Today we have another special episode and another special guest. Edson, thank you for joining us, and feel free to give yourself a quick introduction.
Thank you for having me, man. Wow, special guest. I'm on it. I'm Edson Braafheid. Recently, a month ago, turned 42.
An old man now.
An old man. I'm starting to feel it now. 42. Father of 4 kids. Been a professional soccer player for 20 years. Played all my life, and living the life after football now. So that's pretty much what I could say so far about myself.
I love it. Like you said, in South Beach, there's a lot worse places that you can live your life after football, and that's one of the better places on the list.
Hey man, I was lucky enough to travel a lot of places during my career, after my career, and this is where I got stuck. South Beach, the sun, the energy, the lifestyle, and football is growing a lot here now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we'll get into a lot of those points, especially what you're doing nowadays. There's some quite exciting projects, I could say, from my end on what we've spoken about in the past. I think one of the best ways we really like to start the episodes is kind of dialing it all the way back to your childhood and just getting a better understanding, like, what are the key points from your upbringing in your childhood that if we reflect on who you are today, and if you look back at your childhood and you say, look, these are some of the key points that brought me to who I am, how I operate, how I do certain things. What are some of those key moments that you can like reflect back on, whether it's the footballing side of things, but also just the family environment, your siblings, those sort of things? What were some of the interactions and things that you can look back on now that are like major milestones, I guess you could say, in your childhood?
Oh, man. I was born in Suriname. Suriname is above Brazil. Back in the days, it was a colony from the Netherlands. So the first language there is Dutch. So I grew up talking Dutch. But being in South America, the lifestyle, the culture, everything breathed football, and being a neighbor of Brazil, when I was born, my dad was a huge fan of Brazil. That's why the name Edson. I don't know if you know the original, who the real Edson is. But I got the name from the legend. Put a little bit of pressure on my shoulder when I knew who I got the name from. But pretty much, man, as soon as I could walk, what I heard from my parents is that I was with a ball on my feet, in my hand, everywhere where I would go, I had the ball with me. At a young age, starting to go watch my dad. My dad played for the national team in Suriname as well. So being on the stand, seeing him playing the game, watching the game, that love for the sport, for the game, starts to grow on me. And I can say that that's something that my whole life has been a certain love, a certain feeling that I have for this game, and it brought me so much. It helped me evolve as a young kid, as a young man, and now as a father of 4. Looking back, being proud, but also during my career, I have seen what it has done to me as a human being, as a man. That I had to grow up, responsibility, accountability. If you say that you want to go for it, you got to work for it. So it has brought me so much, man. Family wise, I have a younger brother, 3.5 years younger, and then a 12-year younger sister. And football has always been in our family. My younger sister has nothing to do with football, but my brother and I, we grow up playing on the street in Amsterdam, where I moved when I was 6 years old. We moved to the Netherlands. And that's where it started, that I realized watching TV, watching these professional, at that time, that generation, that motivated me and and inspired me to become a professional player. You know them, the Edgar Davids, Patrick Kluivert, Clarence Seedorf, seeing them play at Ajax. I was like, yo, the sport that I love so much, I can make it my job, my work, so that from that moment, I knew there was nothing else that I wanted to become in this world when I grew up. And I worked hard. Eventually, I had a lot of luck on my side. My dad, my mom supported me. My brother supported me. We all supported each other, basically, in chasing that dream. So, on 16 years old, signed my first contract, professional contract. And that's where it all started.
I love that you started with bringing up that you were born in Suriname, because it's been I would say quite a relevant topic in recent discussions on the podcast, but I would say also just in media in general, where you have a lot of these pockets that, like, Suriname is a huge provider for the Dutch national team, for example. The amount of players that come through, whether it's born and raised in Suriname and moved over like yourself, or just Suriname background. Then you've got the Indonesian connection as well. You have the Jamaican and the UK combination, where you have a lot of players coming through the Jamaican background. There's a lot of these areas of the world, the Caribbean, South America, parts of Africa, that are huge contributors for national teams in Europe. And it shows with your type of background why that is. You have that real South American connection, the connection to Brazil, where football isn't really an option. It's just, that's what you do. It's the love of the game. You're bred into it. And that, I think you can see, I was going to ask you a question on how you felt about the pressures, because I think there's a good balance between having a father that can pressure you and say, hey, look, if you want to make something happen, you have to put the work in and you have to do it. But that can also become a bit too much. But I think with those backgrounds in those regions of the world, it's just such a passion that it's good to have that added pressure, because there's almost like a perfect balance to get you to the level that you ultimately got to in the end.
Yeah. I mean, talking about pressure, it's different, right? Especially with the generation, our parents grew up different, comes from a different mentality, especially also in communicating that part. Now, in my situation, my dad is an army guy.
So same with mine.
So I know the two words that I grew up with was respect and discipline. Those two things. Wake up, make your bed. Respect how you talk to your elders, but also the discipline of every routine, every day. You got to start making your bed. You brush your teeth, you shower, breakfast. When you go outside, play outside, be disciplined enough that I don't need to come and call you. Watch the time. Make sure you come inside on time. So being on time, on school, small things. You get shoes, treat those shoes with respect. Every small thing that you get, you treat it with respect. So these are the small things that kind of mold me in the man that I am now, but also in the beginning of my career. My dad never had to wake me up. He had to wake me up to go to school, but going to early mornings games and stuff like that, I was ready. So it never cost a lot of effort to go out and play the game.
And then if we go back into the footballing side of things, I know you mentioned that at 16, that was your first professional contract. What was the moment that you felt, maybe it was a little bit earlier or a little bit later, where you felt, okay, I could really take this to the next level. This could kind of be my career, like you said, a 20-year career. When was that moment for you? When did that kind of click, like, okay, this is something? Or was it always something where you were constantly trying to prove yourself each and every day?
I like that question. Because to be honest, there was no doubt at all. I never had a doubt that I wouldn't make it. It was just a matter of when, and I have been pretty much late, because if I look at majority of my generation, they have been with a professional team in the academies of the professional teams, clubs, age 7, 8, 9, 10, and I went to the academy of the professional club FC Utrecht when I was 16 years old.
Oh, that is late.
So it was pretty late, even playing at the amateur club that we played on the highest level. We used to play against all these professional teams, and every year 1 or 2 being picked out. Oh, you're going to Ajax, you're going to Feyenoord, you're going to Utrecht, you're going wherever you go, and I was staying back. So you start to like, oh man, am I not good enough, or what is it? But for me, I always kept pushing, man. There was nothing else. Even in my making decision what direction I would go and study, I didn't really care. I picked something randomly.
Yeah, just whatever was there.
Whatever it is, because I'm still gonna end up being a professional soccer player. So that was something that was always on my mind. So there wasn't really a time. I would say, like, when I moved to the Netherlands, as soon as I saw these guys playing on the TV, watching every Sunday weekend, end of the weekend, watching all these games, that's when I knew that's what I want. And there was no doubt for me that I would ever make it.
Was there growing pains going from like the amateur academy to a professional academy to first team like so quickly? Because like you said, most guys had grown up in the professional academies from the age of 8. So they kind of got used to the environment, understand, maybe have some training stints here and there. Then you get the first team deal, you start to move, but you really jump like 3 consecutive jumps. Was that feeling of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be here, or I've got to get used to this? Like it took a little bit extra. Or was it just like, no, I'm ready to go. Like this is it.
Chad, I would tell you, and it's funny because I was late, like when you compare it to other kids, other guys. But as soon as I was there, I was like, this is it. Nobody's going to take this away from me, and I came to the club, to FC Utrecht, and in 6 months' time, I earned my first contract, so that for me, looking back and analyzing it, it was just the hunger that I had. I'm this close, and I saw like other guys like getting the contracts, the 5-year contracts, the 6-year contracts from the academy out, being a youth player. And that was something that, okay, I'm the next. I want to be the next. So for me, it was more like, hey, I arrived where I wanted to be. Now it's time to prove yourself. Now it's time to take it to the next level. And for me, man, I went hard. It was something that this is where I should be. I need to be here. And then 6 months after, I don't know if I'm still, I have to check that. But I think for the longest time, for the club, I've been the youngest player that ever signed a contract there. So that's something to look back and be like, yeah, to be proud of.
So let's talk about that next few. It was honestly quite a short period of time before Bayern came knocking, which I think is safe to say a reason why you felt, okay, I was ready to play at this level and I'm ready to continue going now. Can we talk through that period leading up to Bayern? And then I think it's not talked about enough, the player's point of view from a move like that, from going from the Eredivisie to a big European giant at still such a young age. Can you just talk to me through like the mental side of that? How did you feel? What were your support systems? Did you have your family around you to help you through that? I'd love to hear more insight from that.
So I made my debut in the first team when I was 19 years old. Become a first team player, become a starter at a certain point. 2 years in, I moved to FC Twente, where take it to the next level. They were playing for the European spots, and that's where I earned my spot in the Dutch national team as well. So now you're being on an international level, where you're playing with the guys Dirk Kuyt, Arjen Robben, Robin van Persie, Nigel de Jong, Wesley Sneijder, Klaas-Jan Huntelaar, man, call him all those big international superstars. So your level is raising, your level is going through the roof at that point, and you're only getting better. So the next step for me at that time would be, I gotta be at the top of the Netherlands. I gotta be at the top of Eredivisie. And for me, coming from Amsterdam, Ajax was for me the number one. But you had PSV, you had Feyenoord, and during those FC Utrecht and FC Twente years that I was playing there, those teams came, but it never came to a real deal. And you know how hard it is, like actually getting to a point where you sign a contract. There's so many things that is going on. And I know that I was in my third year at FC Twente, being 25, 26. And Ajax came knocking on the door again, like, dude, this time, I don't care. We're going to push through. You are a Ajax player. You need to come to Ajax. Okay, cool. A dream of mine that, was about to come out. In that negotiation, everything went well. And they sent the contract, and there was one point that, once again, was not written right. So the contract had to be sent back. While it being sent back, I'm with the Dutch national team. Louis van Gaal is calling me from Germany. Edson, listen, this is Van Gaal. I heard that you are talking to Ajax right now. I can tell you, you're not signing that contract. You're coming to my club, Bayern Munich. Man, Bayern Munich being the top 5 of the world at that moment. And it was an easy choice, at that point. Easy choice, playing Champions League, playing in a big league in Germany. So I jumped on that train, went to Munich, and then you realize how big Bayern Munich is. What a world club that actually is. And the pressure to win every game, the pressure, mind you, that's for me, it would be a great step to go to Ajax, because Ajax is the biggest team in the Netherlands, and they are used to dealing with that pressure, right? So I kind of skipped that part and went to Bayern Munich. But as usual, for me, the bigger the challenge, the bigger the better I become. And in the beginning, it was going really well. But then, for the first time in my career, I start dealing with the results are not coming as fast enough. The pressure of the team, the pressure on the coach. He's changing the team every time. So sometimes I'm being a starter, sometimes I'm not. And the times that I not being a starter, the team starts to win. Coaches, winning team stays, right? Especially in football. So for a long period of time, I was not a starter, and I'm not used to. I wasn't used to that.
Yeah, because you'd grown.
I used to play as a starter in every team that I was playing, and then mentally it started to going downhill. Wasn't able to keep my focus long enough, because working hard, disappointment on disappointment, the negative energy that I got from not playing another game. Mind you, those games are coming fast. You're playing weekend, midweek, weekend, 3 games a week, and every time the build up to the game, you got that positive energy, you're ready to play, and then the disappointment after every game. And I was just not mentally not aware and not on that level how to deal with it. And that kind of broke me up, moving, making decisions like, no, I want to change the club, I want to go to a different team, going there, not getting my level, getting on the bench again. So mentally from that moment, career-wise as well, it was going downhill. Still playing at Hoffenheim, Celtic. At after 3 years, I make my move to Italy, Lazio, Roma, big teams. But I was never, for my feeling, never touched that level again that I had at Bayern Munich. Because mentally, life, career-wise, was coming really fast at that point.
So we spoke about, I know the few conversations that we have had, we spoke a lot about the mental health side of things. And you mentioned there you didn't know how to deal with it. And I think that's still a problem today where it's just not discussed. It's not shown, okay, this is what I'm going through. It's such a unique percentage of the population of elite athletes that have this struggle. And then what do you do? Like you've been, like you said, you've been so used to, okay, I'm a starter. Now I'm all over the place. I'm in different countries, different managers. Everyone has their own pressures ahead of them. And it's like, okay, now what do you do? So I think if we can start off with, how did you deal with it? Like what was your way of trying to figure out, what do I do? Was it just these rational breakups of, oh, I let's try switch the club up. Okay, let's try do this. Was it just a lot of experimentation on different things? And I'm sure outside of football, I think that sometimes happens to others as well. Or was there some sort of regimen or routine that you had, or was it really just trying to figure it out along the way?
Okay.
I know it's a bit of a tricky question.
No. Yeah, I mean, because I have to really go back at that time where I was not aware what was going on, right? You like we just talked about. Even now, I'm still on go. My routine is everything, like jumping from meeting to meeting, dealing with my kids, and being a father now, having a lot more time to be a father. But I'm still really goal driven. You know, I set goals for myself as an individual, even after my career, 5 years out of the game right now, but I'm still involved in getting better and developing. So looking back now from this point, from this time, I was just not aware of my thought processes and my emotions. Those two were all over the place, right? But I wasn't aware of my thoughts being led by negative emotions, being sad, being angry, being disappointed. But that's all a part of that process. You know, you still have your goal to reach. You still have your daily routine. The reward is just taking a little bit longer, right? But you will get rewarded, you know, and this is a process that, okay, I'm not being rewarded immediately the weekend, midweek, to play the game and then get that energy out. So what am I gonna do to stay focused, to still be aware of my role in the team? And this is something that, yes, when I became a professional, social media was not a thing then, you know. So at that time we grew into social media. So a lot of information you're getting, a lot of people giving their opinion at a certain point, like, dude, you suck, dude, why is Braafheid not playing? Like, I want to see him playing. And now you going into that part, like, yeah, why am I not playing? So there's so many things to deal with nowadays as an athlete. But besides that, when I signed my first contract, starting to make a lot of money, you know, as a young teenager, you know, suddenly you becoming, as a young teenager, you're getting into an adult world that is going 100 miles an hour, like fast. How do you adjust to that? How do you adjust to all these things, dealing with finances, dealing with attention, fame, distraction, women, dealing with family? Oh, Edson has a great life, family that comes and trying to benefit, friends, you know, all of these things people are not aware of, people are not thinking of. I wasn't thinking of it. My parents, they guide me, they were there, but at the end, I was the one that had to deal with all of these things. step on the field, and still, one, expect myself to perform. I have to fulfill all the expectation of my coach, my teammates, my GM, and then the how many thousand people in the stadium. So it's when you break it down, it's a lot, and a lot of times we're not aware of it. The athletes are not aware of it, what is happening and all these changes. So for me at that time, man, that anger, that disappointment, the sadness had to come out. And I started to dive into the nightlife because I felt like, I'm making a lot of money. Who cares? I don't need to play, and that's where it went downhill with me. Not being focused, not actually going through the pain of the reward, staying away, staying out, but actually grinding and dig deeper into yourself. Outside noise, block them. Okay, how do I block the outside noise? Okay, this certain time of the day that you just don't go on social media. You can still, before training, go do some extra work. After training, come, extra work. After extra work, recovery, food-wise, family, relax time, but you're still in that zone. And that was something that was really hard for me at the time.
The question that kind of keeps playing over and over and over in my head, I'm going to say, and then I'll explain what I mean by it, is do you feel that football failed you? And the reason I ask it is, do you feel like there could have been ways, because you look back now and you're saying, hey, I could have done this, or I could have channeled, like, I think what I'm getting from what you just said there is that you could have channeled the anger and the grit that you had back into training and back into becoming a better person overall in terms of football on the field and off the field. But it's much easier to be distracted by the other worldly things that you have available to you, the money, the fame, the girls, so on. So do you think that football could have done something? And I'm saying it as the industry as a whole. Do you think that teams could have had a better support system? Do you think players around you or coaches could have had a better support system to help a younger Edson in that situation where someone could say to you, hey, I know you're doing this, but maybe if you went with this approach, it might be able to help you, or some sort of educational path to help? Because the reality is you didn't know any better. It's your first time being a professional footballer. So you're just going through and trying to figure it out on your own. It's the same as parenting, I think you could say, where your first time being a parent is the first time everyone's been their parents. So they're just going through and trying to figure things out. I'm curious how you felt about that, your relationship with the overall industry of football.
Great question. Two answers. First of all, I don't regret anything that how my journey went, because it does prepared me for what I believe even a bigger stage, something that I'm really passionate about right now. But I had to go through those experiences, for a reason, to become the man that I am right now, and what I'm able to give back at the young athletes that are coming after me, right? So that's the bigger picture of a reward that I feel as a reward, after all these years. If I look at, did the game fail me? No, the game didn't fail me. I had to go through this, but it also taught me that in the game, in the sports world, now you see how many clubs and organizations are spending time with sports psychologists, mental coaches, because besides the athlete having an outlet on the field, or at home or in the gym, they need a different outlet as well, where they can be their complete self without any judgment, that they can feel safe, and someone that can help them to dive into, hey, what does this say about Edson right now dealing with this situation? It has nothing to do with your qualities. It has nothing to do with your God-given athleticism. So, but still, that potential is there. How are we going to reach it? How are we going to let it come out so you can actually reach that bigger potential that you have inside of you? This is something that I don't want to blame anybody, but it's just time that has to go through it. If you look now at the professional athletes playing on the highest level, most of them have a mental coach. Most of them have someone that they feel safe enough that they can be their complete self and share their fears, share the insecurities, and just share what is on their mind and on their heart. And when that is out, you feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you feel a lot better. So this is, it's something that the game has had to go through a certain growth. And you see it more and more. It's a part of it now. It's not something that you can go without anymore. And this is the world that I'm thankful after my career I dove into. And my way, yes, I'm passionate about the game. Little by little, I'm seeing like coaching guys, talking to guys about the game, being on the field with some of the guys here in Miami, Florida. That passion, it comes back. But to become a coach, I don't see myself becoming a coach. But being that guy that connect with the place, connect with the human being first, and then see the growth that they are able to make by, hey, this situation is happening privately. My girl is messing me up, or family, whatever is going on, right? Still able to be in the moment, still able to block outside noises, deal with it in that moment, but also being able to perform, because life continue. Life is not going to wait on you, and a lot of times when you see like, oh dude, an example, right? Whatever is going through his mind, whatever is the reason, it's a big difference from Anthony playing at Ajax, the Brazilian dude, going to Man United, getting the title of being the worst player, and then goes to, what is it, Betis Sevilla now, and being the man again. And even did an interview, I just saw it coming out 2 days ago, saying that time, how dark it was, not outside, in his mind, of everything that was happening around him. Those are the moments that players need these type of people next to them, to guide them, to be able to show them that mirror. You never lost your God-given talent. You never lost it, So what is it? What is it that we're going to work on? It has nothing to do with outside, only inside.
And that's what I love about you from your side of things, is you could have retired and sat around and I wish I did this, or I wish I could have done that, and so on. But you've channeled this energy and you're now using it to help benefit others in their journey. And I think we're going to touch on that a little bit. We've been on this like kind of reflective stage of just going back through and learning more about yourself and the moments that you went through, but particularly some of the darker moments. And I want to highlight maybe some of the more positive moments, some of the shining moments throughout your career. And I think one of the biggest ones is obviously playing on the world's biggest stage, playing in a World Cup final. I think basically 99% of people that could listen to an episode like this will never be able to experience that or haven't experienced it yet. Can you just talk us through kind of the leading moments up into that and what that felt entering the pitch then? And just maybe some of the other key moments in your career that you felt were like those shining. I think we've touched on some already, kind of the first contract, that time with Bayern coming in and knocking on the door, those things. But I'd love to really just highlight the World Cup final and hear more about that.
Oh man, now I can talk freely about it without any emotions because losing losing the final and being that close to be named the best of the world. That seeing it now, it still hurts a little bit. Um, but yeah, what a amazing experience was that, man. That's what you're doing it for as an athlete, playing on the highest stage with the best competitors, teammates. You playing against Brazil. Oh, dude, like the finals was nice, but playing against Brazil in what was it, the quarterfinals, I think, um, and sitting on the bench in the first half, seeing how they playing, how easy it wasn't even. I didn't feel like they were playing on more than 40%. They didn't sweat the first half, right? And then coming one up, and then that whole energy switch in the halftime in the dressing room. You see the guys still, like the coach giving a speech, guys, players, Wesley standing up, giving a speech like, dude, we're not going home. We are not going home. No matter what happened, we are not going home. We can defeat them, you know? And then walking out and you see a whole different second half, a whole different Netherlands playing there and believing, actually. I have to say it helped that, what's his name? Melo got a second yellow card in the first half already. So they playing with 10 men helped a lot. But you could see how the confidence of us starting to grow and they're starting to shrink, So, man, that was a game, two phases, two different phases, and actually one. For me, I'll be honest. If I watch football World Cup, whatever, I'm a Brazil fan. I'm a Brazilian fan. Obviously, Netherlands is
Yeah,
number one. But Brazil, the players, the energy, the fun, how they play, it's just great to watch. So I always support Brazil. But now playing against them, beating them, and then after the game, going to Kaká, getting his jersey number 10. Kaká, bro, like what are we talking about? You can still see the fan inside of me.
yeah. It's hard to hold back the smile when it's Kaká.
Yeah.
I understand.
And then seeing the passion, the like they went to the dressing room. A couple of our guys went to the dressing room to exchange jerseys, and the sadness in the whole dressing room while they crying, they praying. That was really nice to, or not to see, not as like, oh wow, but just to experience it and feel it. That was different. And then the final, where majority of the world is watching this game at this moment. And I remember on my position, Giovanni from Broncos was playing, the legend, so I did not expect, because he was playing all the games so great, reaching a level, man, making an amazing goal against Uruguay, I think, was it?
One of the best goals I've ever witnessed.
Just like a yard over the midfield and banging it in the freaking top corner. And then in the first half of the extra time, I saw him sprinting against Navas, and he was starting to reach on his hamstring. Man, that heartbeat went from 30 to like 200. Because now your moment is gonna come. Coach is looking back to the bench. He made eye contact. He's like, okay, go do your warming up. Doing my warming up, 5 minutes, coming back, getting the instructions. I don't even hear what the instructions
I was going to ask you, what's going through your head, like with the warm up and the instructions, just not like black at that point?
At that moment, all I can think, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna enter the field right now. Um, at the same time, like excitement, but also being nervous, like, oh man, I don't want to F it up, you know? But at the same time, like, this is what you worked hard for. So you keep pushing and motivating you, like, an excitement, like it's really gonna happen. Being called back, getting the instructions. And at that moment, all I want to do, like, dude, just let me get in. I just want to play. Finally, I remember the moment of the seconds of before running into the field. Just a realization of people are watching this. How many people are watching this? And I start feeling really small. Crazy that that happened just before walking in. And tapped hands, walked in, and I really had to sprint immediately, and that helped me to get in the game. But there were moments, there were a lot of fouls, there were a lot of moments of injuries, you know. So every time that you're standing still, you're getting a realization like, oh shit, I'm actually on the field right now, you know. And then as soon as the game starts again, you're back in it. But yeah, like I said, there was one other moment, Mark van Bommel, big injury again that happened with one of the players. The Spanish guys, man, they were crying a lot.
This is your therapy session now. I feel like you're just starting to uncover this game. I feel like we haven't spoke about it enough.
Yeah, no. So there was one of the last moments before they scored. It was second half, extra time, and Mark came to me. He's like, dude, this is gonna be penalties, PKs. Are you ready? You gotta prepare yourself. So from that moment, there's another thought like, oh my days, PKs, like I'm gonna have to take a PK, you know? And as soon as the game started, you know, we went back in it. But unfortunately, a minute after that, Iniesta scored and it never came to PK. We lost that game. And then it's just pretty much, yeah, I can't even tell you. I don't even remember that, to be honest. Like, obviously you feel down, disappointed. And the only thing that comes up is we were this close. We were this close to become the best in the world. But never
That's
happened.
that. We're on to new things now. We can keep moving forward.
It was
But
a great experience though.
Yeah.
Like obviously my highest stage that I was lucky to play on. So I definitely look back now and being really proud of reaching the highest level that any soccer player can reach. And I had a little bit of it. Yeah.
I love it. No, that's a good one. And I think as we kind of transition and keep moving forward along your journey, I think one of the coolest parts, which really tells a good tale in terms of what you're doing today, is I would say the transition out of football. And I think that's another phase for footballers where we talk about these low moments. I think that's another one that most footballers, I would say, are just not prepared for. They haven't fully acknowledged the fact that, okay, I'm not going to have the label of a footballer anymore. Now I'm just like everyone else. Like I'm on to new things. And like you said, which was interesting that you said that, because you said, I always knew I wasn't really going to get into coaching. But I think that's a lot of times really the only like next step. It's like, okay, I'm going to be a pundit, I'm going to be a coach. And then there's not really much else that kind of goes through the thought. So I'm curious for you, what was that stage like of knowing, okay, my time is sort of starting to come to an end here. Where do I go? What do I do next? Did you kind of have a process or a plan, or was it just kind of figuring it out as you go?
Good question, because for me, I've always been, as a character, I've always been someone that likes to help teammates. You know, when I notice like, oh, he's going through a hard time, to a tough time, whatever, if it's during the game or during a certain amount of time, training, walking down with the head, I've always been the guy that is gonna come to you and ask you like, dude, what's going on? Is there something you want to talk about? Trying to change your mind, trying to get you back in that space of enjoying the moment, enjoying the game. So because that's the only space where you actually are ready to perform, when you enjoy, when you have fun. And so that's always something that I had like a feeling. And I remember at Lazio, Wesley Hood was another Dutch player that I played with, and he was kind of going through first game that he would be in the starting 11 playing against AC Milan away in San Siro. And we shared a room, and from the moment game day, we woke up, and going to the breakfast, I see that he's off, like his energy is off. He's quiet, into himself. So I was like, okay, he's preparing himself. Went back to the room, slept. Then we went to lunch. Still the same energy, never talk. So I asked him like, yo, Wes, you okay? And then he kind of opened up like, dude, I don't know, man. I'm so nervous. I don't know if I'm going to be ready. And I'm freaking out, So, and I asked him a couple simple questions like, dude, are you fit, physically wise? Yes, you can play 95, 100 minutes. You are super fit, right? Tactically, do you understand what the coach is expecting from you and how they gonna play and how you can, respond on that? Yes. Dude, what's the problem? And if you don't know, I'm playing next to you, because he was playing left center back, and I was playing wing back. So I was like, dude, if you don't know, remember, you can always play me. I cover you. I will help you. And that kind of helped them a lot. He played an amazing game. After the game, he came to me. Thank you for that. I'm like, thank you for what? You did it yourself. But after that, we start talking more and more, and he kind of was like, Edson, you kind of good at this. You should do something with it. So that kind of sparked an idea, a feeling of, hey, maybe I should dive into this. And during my career, start working together with a mental coach. When I was playing back in the Netherlands, starting to go, having conversations with players that he was guiding. I was allowed to sit next to him and kind of feel the vibe and learn. And that's how, during my career, I kind of knew that this is something that I wanted to do. But still, when your career is done as an active athlete, going into the transition of whatever it is, there is a period where in the Netherlands we got an expression, call it the black hole, because you're getting into a hole where you have to discover your identity again, because a lot of guys, when they don't do the work inside, they believe that they are football. No, football is what you do. It's not who you are, and if you don't do that work and finding out who you are without football, outside of football, as a person, as an individual, that journey of in that black hole, in that period, is very hard, and that can take long, and that's where a lot of athletes kind of lose themselves, so but even for me, my whole routine changed. I'm home a lot more. My kids, my wife, I have to deal with daddy constantly, your outlet on working out is different. It's not on a daily basis. So what is it that you're going to do to still have that? So it's really, finding out your new self again, and getting a new routine where you can spark, that fire again, that passion again. Now, thankfully, this is my fire now that I developed, grew into, and letting it out right now.
I love it. And I think part of that routine and the change is your motivation ultimately. What is your new motivation? Because you mentioned you had goals that you set in place, but now you're outside of football. So what do those goals look like and so on? Can we dive into what currently motivates you day to day? And I think if you also want to transition into some of the projects, if people are interested in what you're saying now and kind of your story and what you're working on, where can people support you, whether it's the different projects that I know you're working on or on social media, whatever that might be? Feel free to use this time to share more about yourself.
Appreciate it, man. In the Netherlands, we started to build, we have a foundation. They're called the Playmento Foundation. Everything you do, you play mentally, so that's more for the whole youth in general, so not specific targeting athletes, because we do want to bring awareness to the youth from an age of 13, 14 years old, where we can plant some seeds when it comes to the mental aspect of life, of everything you do. So we have workshops there. Then for the athletes, where we one-on-one, we guide athletes. It's called House of Acceleration, where we have a team with different specialties. If it's breath work, if it's trauma specialist, if it's football focused, we have everything in our team that we can guide those athletes. And in Miami, in the States, building on something very excited. What I can say, follow my social media in that. Soon we will come out with some new projects in the United States. It's similar to what we do over there, but there is a twist to it, and it's fun, it's exciting. So I can't wait. I almost wanted to share a little bit. I'm very excited about that project. But it's bringing awareness. It's bringing awareness to athletes, and bringing them into a place where they learn more about themselves, and at the end, that will help them to perform better, So that's the end goal.
No, that's perfect, and we'll have all your links below and everything like that. Should we wrap up? I've got a few quick fire questions for you, and then we'll wrap things up.
Let's go.
What is one club you wish you had the chance to play for?
Shit.
I think you mentioned it, so I'll say one is probably Ajax. So I would guess is one. Is there another one that you have in mind?
Ajax. And I've always been a fan of the Premier League. Just how it is there, and I was close to sign a contract at Newcastle. So that's definitely.
I could see you at Newcastle. I could see you in the white and black. I could see that going on.
Yeah, man. That's definitely also a club that I was close to sign a contract with. So I would definitely call those two. Yeah.
What is one thing that people get completely wrong about professional footballers?
I would say when they look at him that they think that we are spoiled brats, but that's just a big wall to protect. That's the big mask, to protect themselves. But a lot of these guys are really good guys. Yeah.
And humans at the end of the day. I think they have the label of footballers, and people almost look at them as like, oh, it's a different type of being. Like they're not like us. They don't have the same struggles. I know every single footballer that I speak to has the same struggles as someone that works a 9 to 5 or runs their own business or whatever there might be. We're all humans at the end of the day, and we all go through the same things.
That's the thing that connects all of us. All of us. No matter in what world, what type of work or discipline you are, the thing that connects all of us is that we all go through struggles.
The last one here, if you could sit down with one person for a meal, past or present, who would it be and why? It can be football, non-football, whatever you prefer.
Obama. Yeah, Obama. Definitely someone that I look up to. Definitely someone that would love to pick his brain. The way how he express himself, the way how he always know how to find the right words to express himself, in any situation. And how he stays calm, man, despite all the BS, how he stays calm. So yeah.
Love it. Edson, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it. If you have any last words from your end, and then we'll wrap things up here.
No, I can say great questions, man. Great questions. Thank you for having me. And we talked a little bit before. And I'm looking forward to keep the conversation going, because there's a lot of stuff that is about to happen, and let's team up.
I love it. Well, I'll make sure to we'll have all your socials and everything below. So some exciting news, I'm sure, to come soon. And yes. Yeah, I look forward to catching up. I know I'll be down in Florida in not too long, so I'll make sure to reach out and we'll catch up again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Have a good one. See you.
You too. Bye-bye.